Guys, when I'm making this episode, all the time I'm looking through the window. Why? Because there is a bug that's looking at me. So you can see it here. Here. It's a stinky bug. Then, one of the biggest things that you have to have in a good company is taking responsibility. Meaning having people inside on various levels that don't take responsibility for their task, actions, what they say, the timeline they have committed to, and so on. It's a very big issue. You cannot move forward. You cannot get a pay raise and more money. You cannot expect any bonuses and so on if you don't take responsibility. Of course, in the line of the level where you are at. You cannot take responsibility of driving the entire company if you're not on the CEO, CFO level. But if you are on the management or let's say a team lead or so on, you have to take responsibility for your task, for the task of your team members and so on. And you have to take the bullet if something is wrong. No one will fire you because you said you are wrong. You have to admit when you are wrong. You have to go further than your ego and say, okay, I am the one to blame, but I have learned and I will do this and this to become better. That's how you take responsibility. You take in both ways. You take the responsibility when something is good, and you take the responsibility when something is bad. Then the next thing that you need to have is a customer obsession or customer-oriented approach, meaning that the company exists because of the customers, because we want to earn money. And how can you earn money? By selling your products, services, and so on to some customers. That's why you have to be focused on them. That's number one. If you're talking with, let's say, developers in an IT company, they always want to write perfect code. Everything has to be perfect while they're programming. It has to be modular, microservices, this and that. At the end of the day, this doesn't bring any additional added value to the customer itself, because the customer doesn't see it, doesn't feel it, he doesn't care. The customer only cares about himself and the value that your product is bringing to him. That's why you have to be customer focused. Maybe you think that our product has to be red or has to have, I don't know, 2 buttons or something like that. But we are not the ones who we should be asking that question. We should always ask the customer using different kinds of methods. It doesn't matter how we are extrapolating the knowledge from the markets and from our customers, to listen and to really hear what our customers have to say and what do we have to integrate. Because at the end of the day, they will buy it because we have listened to them and we have incorporated what they say into our products. That's why we have to be customer oriented, and it has a direct influence on this first and the biggest and the most important thing of the good company. Okay, so I believe it's a straightforward thing. Then next thing that you have to have, it's decision making. Meaning that you cannot postpone decision making forever. So you have to make decision in a finite amount of time. Okay? Bad management, they avoid making decisions. They're constantly hiding behind something or someone, and they don't want to make any kind of decision. Why? Because if you make decision, then you are responsible. And no one likes to be responsible. This responsibility is one of the biggest pain points in every company. So everyone, according to the status and the level where they are in the company, should take responsibility. And if you take more responsibility than you should, then you should be rewarded. And then you should move up the ladder, get better paycheck and so on. That's how you get a pay raise. Not by just passing the time and I'm here 5 years and I didn't get a pay raise in 1 year. It doesn't go in this direction. It goes in a direction that you take responsibility. When you take some kind of responsibility, then you make something new, something additional, then you change. When you change, then you will, in most of the cases, have effects on this profitability of the company, and that's how you move forward. Okay, so good managers, good, let's say, board in the company, they are good decision makers. They are not, let's say, hectic, and they are not making those decisions like that. Maybe down the road when they have more experience, but they are thinking about it, they gather all the knowledge, but then they cannot take it to, I don't know, to some extent of 20 days to make a decision whether or not we will buy, I don't know, a license for ChatGPT on the level of the company. It's not like that, and it shouldn't be like that. So it's a decision that you have to make in, I don't know, 15 minutes, and you make it. What if the decision is wrong? Then you admit, take the responsibility, change the decision, make another one, fail fast. You say, okay, my bad. This is, I have learned. This is how we should have gone. Let's go in this direction. And that's it. Simple as that. Then, next thing, the good company has to have clear goals and vision. If the company doesn't have any kind of document or something in written form saying we are this, this, and this as a company, and we are doing this, this, and this, these services, products, and we want to be here in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, if we don't know where we are going, how the fuck can we fly the plane if we don't know where the destination is? Only if we know the destination, then we can potentially reach it. It doesn't say that we will certainly reach it, that it will reach it in 10 years, but it's something, it's a focus, it's a line of sight where we see that goal in the distance and we are moving towards. Of course, it's not like this. It's always like this. There are the ups and downs and so on. So the straight line, maybe it's the quickest path, but we know all that life is not like this, a straight path. It's always bumps, ups and downs, but at the end, if you're looking at this graph and this path from a helicopter, it seems like a straight line, because in 10 years resolution time, it doesn't even matter. Maybe we will reach our goal in 12 years. That's okay. That's completely fine. The problem is, if we don't know what are our goals and visions, then certainly in 10 years we will not be there where we want to be. And we even don't know where we want to be. Okay? Then, what do we have to do next? The good company has a potential to retain talent. People are in companies for 3 reasons: money, people, and job, tasks. Let's say the specifics of the job they are doing. So the quality and how interesting their job is, and how the surrounding is around them, so their fellow team members, management, and so on, and how good the paycheck is. Those are 3 things, and the good company knows that and uses everything that it can to retain and to educate and evolve these talents that they have within the company. Of course, it's not always black and white. In some cases, we have a good, brilliant minds in the company and they simply don't want to do this anymore. They don't find themselves doing this. They want to try something by themselves and it's completely fine. You cannot retain everybody, but you can retain someone if you are constantly working and thinking about how to push them to be even better, to have better paycheck, for them to be more effective and to be more satisfied so that they can be more effective in terms of how their jobs and their tasks are directly connected to the profits of the company. Okay, I believe it's very simple. You have to have good hiring process, good HR, good recruitment process. That's all, I believe, pretty normal. You have to have clear rewarding path, professional career building paths, and so on. Then scalability, meaning that your company's goal always have to be to grow, and then that your products and services can follow that growth. So you have to have development process in place so that once you start this growth process, your products and service can handle it. So you can provide those services to more customers and so on. Because that's the way that you will increase revenues, profits, and make this growth. It doesn't make any kind of sense that you're, I don't know, you're managing or you are a gardener, let's say, and then you have 3 workers in your company, and then you can, I don't know, have 3 or 4 customers, and you can serve 4 customers per day. And then you see that there is a demand for this kind of service in your neighborhood. It increased because new people moved in and so on. So there are, let's say, 10 gardens now, but you cannot serve them all. You cannot clean them all. You cannot mow the lawn in all of them because you only have 4 people. You have to be able to grow. So you need to or increase the effectiveness of the current people, or you have to employ an additional people, or both. In most of the cases it is combination of both, but if you don't do it, someone else will, and then you will lose your profit, your market share, you will lose your profits, and then you will start to move backwards. Simple as that. Then learning culture. A good company encourages its employees to learn, to evolve, to move forward. They are investing in them for different kinds of education, but also the people in the company are learning and educating themselves by themselves with no one monitoring them. And so the people inside are, let's say, prone to this behavior of moving forward and learning by themselves because they want to be better, they want to grow. And to encourage this culture, it's one of the most important things that you need to do. Of course, there is work-life balance, and this is one of the biggest things that when you are in recruitment process, when you are employing a new guy or girl in a company, one of the biggest question is how much do you have to work, how many days of vacations you have, and so on. And it's a tricky question. Why? I understand that you need to have a good work-life balance, but you also need to understand that there are some people, they don't need a lot of this life part of work-life balance because they are working at home, they are working overnight, they are working 16 hours a day, they are working on weekends and so on. You cannot prevent that. You cannot stop that. Is this good or bad? I'm not going into it. I'm not saying, I don't want to say anything. You have to, by law, you have to work maybe from 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, but you have to understand that there are people who want to work more and you cannot stop them. Please don't be angry with them. Don't be angry because they are working more. He is working over the weekends. He's making us feel bad or something like that. It doesn't. Please don't go into this direction. If you want to work overnight, work. If you don't want to work, don't work. But don't bitch because someone else is working. If you want to have a good work-life balance, you do it like you wanna. If somebody else wants to work and he doesn't care about his wife, his children, and he only wants to work, it's his problem. Okay, it's his problem. It's not yours problem. And let him be. But you have to understand, if he works all the time and he's a good employee, in most of the cases, he will do something that will increase the revenue, the profits, and so on. The company will recognize this, and in most of the cases, he will move up the ladder. And it's completely normal. It's capitalism. Sorry, guys. It's the name of the game. If you don't want to play it, it's your problem. And it's like, the life is like that. But when this guy moves up the ladder, and he or she has to just understand that most of the people are not like them, and they cannot expect other people to behave like them. The problem occurs when those people try to push other people to work as hard as they are, and that's the bad way. They have to push the people to be better because okay, but if they want to retain the work-life balance that they have, they cannot do anything about it, and they cannot be angry with them. So those managers are the ones who have wrong expectations. But on the other hand, you who are for this work-life balance, and when you go home, you just want to listen to music or watch television, it's okay, but rest assured there is someone who is working all day and all night, and he will move faster than you. And don't be angry, it's the name of the game. And the last thing that I want to emphasize and stress out here is to have good people. In general, good people who are sharing the same goals, visions of the company, values, and so on, and they want to participate and they want to incorporate themselves, those skills, into making this company or that company better. And to have good culture so that people are not bitching all the time, everything is negative, so on. So you have to have good people with good skills and good environment. And I put this as a last parameter because it's the most important one. Because everything else here depends on the good people. Why? Because there is no scalability of the products if people are not doing. The responsibility is taken by the people. The people in the company, they are making the decisions, they are defining the goals, they are writing the documentation, they are agile and so on, they have to change, they are managing other people and teams and so on. So you understand, every other aspect of the good company is basically covered by actions of people in that company. If you have good, dedicated, devoted people who are pushing this boat in the same direction, then everything else, in most of the cases, it will fall into right position. Maybe not everything 100%, but over the long run, over the long periods of time, everything will be set in its place, and it will be okay. So, guys, this is it. If you want to have a good company, these are the things that I personally would focus on. So if I have my own company, these are the things that I would devote my time into. So what do you think? Is this okay? Did I miss something? Please share, like, subscribe, write, and bye guys.